Rafe and Esther, so excited to be chatting with you. Season 3 of Apple TV's hit series Trying coming to us on July 22nd. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
Let's go ahead and talk. Infertility is such an emotional journey for so many people, whether it's IVF, surrogacy, the adoption process, freezing your eggs. And sometimes you need a little humor to kind of put this whole thing in perspective. And I'm sure the both of you hear from a lot of fans on what the series means to them.
Yeah, I think that's one of the good things about social media is that you can have that instant connection with people that want to reach out and express how they have felt watching the show. And a lot of people who are going through the process or have gone through the process or are struggling with infertility have got in touch just to say how much they feel, I guess, like seen, or they feel like their story's been represented, and how it offers that idea that they're not alone in it. And I feel like that's so important and so special to, be able to have that, to be entrusted with those stories from people, and just shows how important representation is.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Nikki and Jason were hoping, for a child. They end up with 2 children on this new season. Talk a little bit about how that is changing their perspective on parenthood.
Yeah, they got 2 for the price of 1, which was definitely unexpected. And I think it would have been a huge deal to try to bond with one kid, trying to convince the local authority that you can house 1 kid, that you're suitable parents, but to have 2. I think the stakes get higher because the idea that they'd have to separate these siblings is just unimaginable for them, for the kids. So I think it raises the stakes greatly.
Let's talk a little bit about what you've learned filming this last season, especially on parenting, as far as going by the book versus kind of following your instincts, and those two kind of lanes sometimes go together, and sometimes they're 2 different roads. But what have you learned as far as parenthood and then this journey?
Yeah, well, for me personally, just how hard it is being a parent, that you have no control over what these, looking after these little people, because they're their own things. And as much as you might want to go by the book, that doesn't necessarily match what their ideas of what they want is, or what they need is. So that's been because I'm not a parent, so that's been a really interesring thing to know.
And what about for
Yeah, I
you?
guess it's yeah, I have kids, and I remember when I had my first kid, my father said to me, you're now in a prison of love. And it's like, well, it's a prison, so it's inescapable, but it's love. It's full of love, but it still means that you're stuck in that prison forever, And love is so beautiful, glorious, and all we have, but it isn't always easy.
Yeah.
Well, 100%. Now let's talk a little bit about the title of the show, because it can mean so much to so many people trying to be good parents, trying to start a family, trying to keep it together. What do you take as far as, like, when you hear that word, what the show is all about? Or it could be all of them.
Yeah, I think it is. For me, I think the show and life is is that whole thing that life isn't necessarily what you think it's going to be. You might have an idea of what you think your life is, and actually life has other plans for you, and it's how you meet that. And it's life and being an adult is very trying, and you just have to keep trying to get through it. For me, that's what that means.
I agree.
Do you?
And as far as Princess and Tyler, let's talk a little bit about those 2 new characters that we're seeing on the show and working with them on set.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They're great kids. It's great to have that youthful energy on set. Reminds you of what it is you love, because they're very wide-eyed and blown away by the whole filmmaking experience, and it is special. And when when you're waking up real early and getting in real late, you can lose sight of that sometimes. But you have to always remind yourself that we're very blessed to work in this industry at this level, and tell stories that we really care about. And these kids were great reminders of that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Season 3 of Trying coming to us on Apple TV Plus on July 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.